I'm surprised that President Trump, he said that it was a mistake. To me, it was a shocking statement because it was not a mistake. You cannot have mistake on daily basis. This is serious war crime. And we expect a different reaction from American president because, Trump, he promised ceasefire before the Easter, and Putin is sending very strong signal to Trump showing that he has no intention to have any ceasefires whatsoever. And Putin, in this way, by committing these horrible war crimes, he's trying to show to the world that he considers Trump to be a paper tiger, a person, a politician who is only about the talk, but not about any actions.
At least 34 people, including 2 children, were killed and over 100 injured in a Russian ballistic missile strike on the Ukrainian city of Sumy. It happened on Palm Sunday, one of the most important religious holidays in the Ukrainian calendar, when 2 Iskander missiles landed in the city centre as worshippers headed to church. It's the deadliest attack on Ukraine this year. A ceasefire agreement brokered by the US is still on the table, although Russia has yet to respond. Oleksandr Merezko is a Ukrainian MP and the chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee of the Ukrainian Parliament. He joins us now. Good morning.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for joining us. Can you just explain to people what do we know about this attack so far?
Well, we know that Russia is pounding Ukraine, is shelling civilian objects each day. And after this attack, we already had attack on Odessa and some people were injured. Before that, just a few days before this deadly attack on Sumy, we had Russia attacking Kryvyi Rih, as a result of which 9 children were killed by Russians. And in Sumy, we have dozens of people killed on Palm Sunday, which is a religious holiday, and dozens of people injured. It's horrible, but the most tragic and the most horrible part of it, that it continues, and it's been for more than 3 years.
And that is a point that we, will keep making here on this programme, keep covering the need to agree a ceasefire deal. And that is obviously something that we've been talking to you about over a number of programmes of late. On this particular attack in Sumy, you've mentioned the day that it happened, Palm Sunday. There is also a suggestion that cluster munitions were used. They are obviously banned. Are you aware of reporting? Is that accurate, that cluster munitions were used in this case?
As far as I know from our military servicemen, that cluster munition was used by Russians deliberately to inflict maximum damage on civilian population. It was their goal because Russia is waging war against Ukrainian people. That's why we consider Russian war not only imperialist, but genocidal war against the Ukrainian nation. Their goal is to exterminate Ukraine, to erase it from the map of the world, and to subjugate Ukrainian people. So it's a horrible tragedy. It's a horrible war crime. And I'm surprised that President Trump, he said that it was a mistake. To me, it was a shocking statement because it was not a mistake. You cannot have mistake on daily basis. This is serious war crime. And we expect a different reaction from American president because, Trump, he promised ceasefire before the Easter, and Putin is sending very strong signal to Trump showing that he has no intention to have any ceasefires whatsoever. And Putin, in this way, by committing these horrible war crimes, he's trying to show to the world that he considers Trump to be a paper tiger, a person, a politician who is only about the talk, but not about any actions.
And there is concern that this is part of a much bigger plan by Russia for a sort of greater incursion in this particular region, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely, because Russians are trying to gain as much territory, to occupy, to make advances into Ukrainian territory as much as possible. On the 9th of May, they have so-called Victory Day, and Putin wants to show to his people that Russia is gaining upper hand.
What would you like to see from the West now? You've spoken there of your concern and your disappointment in Donald Trump's remarks. What would you like to see from the UK government specifically now?
Well, first of all, we're tremendously and sincerely grateful to the UK government because they're doing a lot to help us. I wish Americans were like the UK government and Trump was like British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. And we hope that the UK government will use leverage over our American friends to persuade them to impose serious sanctions against Russia. To isolate Russia completely, economically, diplomatically, because Russia was recognized by the Council of Europe as a terrorist regime. And there can be no dealings whatsoever with the terrorists. Putin is a typical terrorist. He's a war criminal. There is arrest warrant. And we shouldn't have any negotiations with such kind of terrorists.
Do you think the opportunity for negotiations over peace now are over? Is there any hope for that kind of an agreement?
I suspect that Mr. Trump will continue to pressure Ukraine into negotiations, but it's absolutely useless. The problem is not in Ukraine. The problem is in Putin.
Yeah.
He's absolutely not interested in any kinds of ceasefires. He's obsessed. He's a maniac who is obsessed with destroying Ukraine. This is his ultimate goal, and he would never stop.
Oleksandr, thank you for your time this morning. That is
Thank you.
Oleksandr Merezko, Ukrainian MP.
There's a sense of kind of hopelessness in some of that. I noted that Volodymyr Zelensky has urged President Trump to visit Ukraine to kind of see for himself what's going on. And also that President Macron of France says strong measures are needed to impose a ceasefire on Russia. I was trying to work out if that is a shift in position, actually. Just impose the ceasefire now, end the negotiation, just make something happen. I'm not sure how realistic that actually can be, though.
I think it's very difficult, but I think the reality is that cluster munitions have been used here. And I know that we talk a lot about, the significance of things that Russia has done, and that the whole war is obviously an illegal war. But the fact that we are now seeing this type of attack on this type of a day against civilians, I think is an extra incentive for the West to come together and to try and agree something which is going to put an end to this.
Yeah, absolutely.